pilots of the internet, welcome to Foldable Flight. My name is Kyle, and this is where I teach you how to fold paper airplanes that will blow your mind. And as always, I have an awesome paper airplane for you today. This is Sovereign. It is a Boomerang plane based on a design by Jeremy Shafer. Now, if you don't know who Jeremy Shafer is, he has an amazing YouTube channel here with like over 400,000 subscribers and a ton of original origami content. So go ahead and head over to his channel and check that out. And you can see now what his version of this plane looks like. And I'm going to leave a card in the top right corner so you can fold that version as well. Now, as always, you can see this plane looks great. It flies excellently, as you saw in the flight tests. But we can make this look even cooler. And if you support me on Patreon, you can fold your plane using a template that makes it look like this. And I have to say, this is one of my favorite templates, just with this beautiful dragon design on it. And that just always adds to the aesthetic of the plane. So without any further ado, let's get started folding. Now, as with most of my planes, all you're going to need is an 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of paper. And we're going to start by turning it this way. And we will begin by folding this edge to this edge. And we'll open that back up. And now we're going to fold this to this edge. Okay, and we'll open that up. The next step is to fold this edge right here down to land essentially on this crease that we just made. But what I want to do is I want to leave just a little gap, and I mean really just a few millimeters, so a very small gap. Hopefully, let me try to put this a little closer to the camera. Hopefully you can see there. That's the kind of gap I'm talking about, really pretty small. And we're going to fold the other side to match. So first I want to fold it in half, like so on that existing crease. And then I'll flip it to this side, and I can use the folds I made on that other side to match this side up exactly to it. And now, trying to keep my head out of the way, I might actually have a little trouble matching these up. But that's going to be close, I'm sure. And I'll open it back up to this state here. Next, I just want to fold this top edge to this center crease. And again, I'm trying to leave just a little bit of a gap there, because we're going to fold down yet again, taking this top edge to that line, and it's going to be pretty thick here. And in order to keep it from getting too unruly, you want to leave just that little gap once again. Working with these thick layers can be a little difficult, but not too bad. Just make a nice firm crease across the top. Okay, and next we're going to fold this whole section down on the existing crease we had originally made. And your plane should look like this. Next, we want to make creases that are going to go straight through this corner, but we're going to flip the paper over and fold it like this. And you kind of just pull that edge until you see that corner reveal itself. And once you do that, you want to line up this edge here on this back edge, and that's going to help make sure your crease is parallel to your center crease. And then I'll rotate this and do the same thing on this side. Again, I'm just pulling this up until I reveal this corner, and I use that kind of as my reference. And then I line this edge up here with the back edge. Give it a nice firm crease. And now I'm going to flip this back over to look like this. Next, I just want to fold this little top edge to that crease we just made. And I'll open that up, and I'm going to do a swivel fold where I pull this open, push in on that existing crease, and you can see here the section that goes under here is this little portion and this little portion end up tucked under that layer. So let me do that one more time. Once I've done this, I'm not making any new creases. I'm just pushing in and swiveling that behind this top layer. And I'll do the same thing here on this side. I'm going to fold this into that line. And then I'll open this up and push that whole thing in just like that. Okay, and now I'm going to fold the plane in half on our existing center crease, and it should look like this. The next step is just to fold our fuselage wing lines that are parallel to this edge right here, and about the same distance from this edge as the thickness of this. I would say a little bit less thick is probably ideal, but a similar distance from this edge to that line as you're going to make this crease from this edge. Okay, and you can see the crease I made there, and I'm going to flip it over and just fold this other side to match. Be sure to line up this back corner with the back corner of this wing. That's going to really help make sure it's symmetrical, or as symmetrical as it can be. Okay, and next, you can see we have this nice crease right there. What we want to do is we want to pull this whole wing, and we're going to land this crease on this edge. And once we do that, we're only going to crease a portion of the wing. So watch carefully what I do here. So again, I'm pulling this. I'll actually even flip this to the back, this fin to the back for now, so that I can really see how to line that up. And I'm just creasing this portion, this very thick band right here. That's all I'm creasing. And then I'll return this fin back to its orientation. And now I'm going to actually open this wing up while I work with the other wing, because I don't want to reinforce this potential crease at all. So again, I'm going to push this fin behind and pull this whole layer like so, and I want to land this edge here on this edge. And once I get that lined up, I'm just creasing that front portion. And I'll open everything back up. And so right now, your plane should look essentially like this, and we'll play with the angles when we're all done. But you can kind of see you have these bends in your wing now. So now all we have left to do is we're going to fold a fin in the middle of our plane. So what we're going to do is you can see this point here where this thick band intersects the bottom of our plane. That's where our crease is going to start. And we want our crease to end at the back of the plane where this crease here intersects the back edge. So I'll go ahead and do that and show you what that looks like. I'm just pulling both of these layers here and finding that back edge. And it should look like this at this point. So you can see that crease starting up here, going to the back there, and then we're going to reverse. So that goes, this is an inside reverse fold. You can see we have our lines here. We want to push them so that from looking at it from this side, this becomes a mountain crease, this is a mountain crease, and the center line is a valley crease. And we're going to just pull that through. So now when we look at this from the other side, you can see we have this nice fin on the back of our plane, and that's going to give it a little up elevator because of these gutters. And then it's also going to provide it with some directional stability, which will be important to the consistency of the plane. So now we're going to just make sure we set all the wing angles correctly, because you can see the folding is done at this point. All you want to do is you want to make sure you can see that central section angles down, but these outer sections are level. And that's going to give a good glide while also giving it some anhedral angle, which means when you throw it in a banked attitude, you can kind of see if you're having trouble getting this to circle back to you, refer back to the beginning of this video where you can see how I'm throwing this. I'm throwing this plane in a banked attitude so that as it wants to climb, it has a natural tendency to climb, it will climb in a circle back to me. So that's the whole trick behind the boomerang in here. And so what you want to do when you first throw this plane is don't try to get it to boomerang back to you. The first thing you want to do is throw it forward. And pay attention as you throw it forward. Does it want to turn dramatically in one way or the other? Because if it does turn, then you're going to have a lot of trouble getting it to turn or to boomerang back to you. What you want is when you throw it straight, for it to fly straight, and it'll kind of climb and dive and climb and dive, but you want to make sure it's flying straight. And the reason for that is if you say it turns right, so it's turning right, and I throw it in a banked attitude this way. Oh, my light's doing something crazy here. You throw it in a banked attitude this way, turning right is going to make it exit its boomerang. It's going to turn right and go like this. So, and the same is true for the left. If it's turning left, in this case, turning left is going to actually make it dive down. But if I was throwing it this way, turning left, again, would make it exit the boomerang. So I have a whole video on how to properly adjust your planes to make them fly straight. So I'm going to leave a card in the top right corner for you guys to watch that. That's the trick, is make sure this flies straight before you try to make it boomerang. And then once you get it to boomerang, or fly straight, you can make it boomerang just by throwing it in this banked attitude either way, and it'll curve back to you. So again, I'm going to leave a card in the top right corner right now to that video on how to throw and adjust your planes. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to check out Jeremy's video on his design for this boomerang plane and his channel, which has just, I mean, I could go on and on about how great his channel is. A ton of amazing origami content on that channel. It was one of the channels that inspired me to even start mine. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you next time.